Hey, what's up, everybody? Just tuning in here for another update. I hope everybody's having a good week. So we are going to be talking about a couple of things today. Specifically, I want to talk a little bit about the new referendum on V2, some of what's going on with that. There were some things that came out in the news recently. I saw some really good questions in the public chat that I do want to touch on. And, lastly, just kind of what's coming up here this month. There's kind of a lot of outings we're going to be going on, some new announcements coming, things like that. So I'm going to dive into all that. So just, to give everybody that's not aware a quick update, there is a referendum pending today on our governance platform that is for the up version 2 rollout. So giving a quick update on what's going on. Essentially, this is a new version of the UP token. For those that are not aware of kind of how this has evolved, starting back in 2018, we basically came out with a seed token, back token, that continued to evolve on to a more smart contract, more decentralized version of that. That culminated into the UP token itself, which was the version 1, the current version that we have, which is entirely smart contract controlled, a lot more decentralized, a lot more secure, easier to interact with, more automated in how that works. And now we're coming into the possibility of an V2, which is going to be the same token that not only has all the same benefits as before, but also some ability to interact with everything from staking contracts to DeFi platforms and things like that, so that it can start generating better returns and a better, a better return to the backed value of the token over time than we currently see, which is super exciting. Now, the drawback from that is we need to kind of put some distance between the ability to redeem the token and not. So we put in a lot of this information into the referendum. Please take your time and read through it. But it's a pretty interesting token, and I think it's going to be very important to our future. So just getting into kind of, I suppose, a very important part of this. That's basically how does, I saw a question posted in our main Telegram room yesterday, and that's basically how does this benefit UNIFI, right? Like, how does this contribute to UNIFI? And I think that that's a good question, because for me, it's not as direct as you would typically expect. There's not some direct return to UNIFI, even though UNIFI is doing the voting here. And I do want to reiterate, the purpose of UNIFI token is primarily a governance token. This is how decisions are meant to be made. This is how we expect this ecosystem to evolve in the future. And for us, I think that UNIFI token has kind of a long way to go. It does offer some governance principles now, but ultimately, we've been around for about 4 years now, a bit over 4 years now, and we intend to be around a lot longer. From our perspective internally, UNIFI token is going to be how we operate a lot of the DAO associated contracts in the future. Everything we're building, everything we're working towards, the way we're reorganizing the company is going to be more structured in a way where contracts are developed and deployed, and they're allocated or provided to the DAO. So the DAO's influence on those contracts is going to go up over time. So as that happens, it's going to be very important that the UNIFI token remains as decentralized as possible, as distributed amongst a community as possible. And frankly, we don't want to fall into a lot of the same holes that some of our peers have. And for me personally, the way I see it is UNIFI should be a token that's distributed primarily to those that want to interact with the ecosystem and have some incentive in the total ecosystem being successful. If most of the token value is being given to those that are short-term buy and hold type of users, that doesn't bode well for stability. And I've got a couple of more things that I want to talk about on this, and I'm not trying to lead too much here, but from my perspective, when I look out 5 years into the future, the best thing for us is to have a community that's distributed and actively seeks to have our network operating as healthy in as healthy a way as possible. So I don't want to give too much away on that, but I think that that's why a lot of these features, when we talk about them, maybe they don't have a direct influence there because we're not directly trying to sell this token for a short-term gain. We're not directly trying to incentivize people to purchase this token for a short-term gain. This is a long-term play for us. That's how we've operated the company for the last 4 years, and it's how we intend to operate it into the future. That's how we're able to continue building. We don't necessarily have to see a bear market as a scary thing. We can kind of continue along through that, and it gives us the ability to build when the markets are as they've been. That's when we got started, was 2018. We built through that time. We came out of that ahead, and we intend to continue on that. So just giving a little more insight though, there was a recent document. I'm looking at this now. I think it was posted by Vitalik on the 25th of May. So very, very recently. And this is relevant to today. I'll get to why. Basically, it's called 2 thought experiments to evaluate automated stablecoins. Seems pretty disconnected from what we're doing here today, but essentially what that is he puts forward a couple of thought experiments. What makes for a more stable token? What makes for a more stable token economy? And 2 of those things were essentially let me look up the terms exactly. I think he calls it number 1, can the stablecoin even in theory safely wind down to 0 users? That's question number 1. And you take that and apply that to UP. So if we're taking a look at UP V2, which is not a stablecoin, but it is a back reserve token, can it wind down to 0? Well, yes, it can. It's a fully backed token. It's designed to be fully backed. So I'd say that it does pass that. We can wind down to 0 users and everyone could extract 100% of their value. All we have to do is open redeem again, and that works. Well, that's pretty cool. And then the second one, the second thought experiment is what happens if you try to peg the stablecoin to an index that goes up or down 20% within a year, so a volatile index. And we don't have that situation. UP is pegged to a token that it's redeemable for, so that there is no volatility in terms of the value of the token and the quantity of backing. They're directly correlated, so we don't subject ourselves to that kind of risk. And I think that what that means is if you take this stablecoin metric and you apply that to this UP token, it passes that, which is super cool to think about because it's not a stable token, but it is something that that does meet the criteria for what makes for a more interesting algorithmic token that could have potentially less downside to its users. And I think that's a good example of what we're trying to do here. Is we're trying to build more sustainable versions of these tokens so we can continue to evolve that. The way that we expect to manage that is, again, through governance. That's what UNIFI token is for. And that's kind of what we're excited about. And that's why that's our real push here into the future. So I think that on that note, I think I'm going to kind of wrap us up here with a little bit of what's coming here in the next month. We're obviously going to be going to consensus. We have a pretty big turnout there. I think 8 of us from the team are going to be there. We're throwing a nice big event, having a ton of our partners out there. And so that's super exciting. We're going to be talking more about sustainability of the blockchain space, of the company and where we're going. And this week, we're actually going to be attending Graph Day up in San Francisco. So if anybody is around at either of those, feel free to reach out. And that's it, guys. So I hope everybody here has a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.